Hi guys, today's our topic is lesions of spinal cord. In lesions of spinal cord, we'll talk about complete transection where the spinal cord is made into two halves, two pieces, the upper segment and the lower segment are separated. And incomplete transection, it may be involving half of half, or it may be involving the anterior segment or the dorsal columns or the lateral, whatever, that is incomplete transection. And in that a part is hemisection where half of the spinal cord is lost. And also we talk about diseases of spinal cord. Complete transection, it presents with three stages. So whenever there is an injury to the spinal cord, first stage it undergoes is stage of spinal shock. So it will be losing its supraspinal control, that is the central control it will be losing. So it undergoes a stage of shock, and from that shock it recovers. That is called as stage of reflex activity. So whatever the functions that are there with the spinal cord level will be slowly recovering. And if the person's health and the nutrition are not good, it undergoes the next stage of deterioration called as stage of reflex failure. And if the level of injury is above C5, the person dies with respiratory failure. So like in judicial hanging where it's C1, at the level of C1 it is cut, the person dies immediately because of the respiratory failure. And at C7 loss, the sympathetic tone to the heart is lost. So there occurs decreased BP and decreased heart rate and vasodilatation if the level is at C7. Coming to the stage of spinal shock, all the muscles which are innervated below will undergo paralysis, and that kind of paralysis is flaccid paralysis, which is a feature of lower motor neuron paralysis. So in stage of spinal shock, even though it may be upper motor neuron kind of paralysis, we can't demarcate. Every case presents as lower motor neuron paralysis only. Until it recovers stage of reflex activity, we can demarcate whether it is an UMN or LMN. And all the reflexes are lost, even superficial, deep, loss of sensations, and even the autonomic bladder and rectum are paralyzed. So voluntary voiding of urine and feces are also lost. And we also know that sympathetic tone is lost. So heart rate is decreased, venous return is reduced because of venodilatation, and also paralysis of the muscles, loss of muscle pump. And now the stage of reflex activity occurs. It is also called a stage of recovery, and in that it takes around 3 weeks. The initiation of the recovery occurs about 3 weeks, and the first activity returns to the smooth muscle, blood vessel. So sympathetic tone and BP returns to the normal. And also after 3 months, the flexor muscle tone will appear in the lower limbs. So the attitude of the limbs will be paraplegia in flexion. Paraplegia means paralysis of the lower limbs, and as the flexor tone is more, the flexor muscles will show a bit contraction, so we call that as paraplegia in flexion. And the demarcating superficial reflex between the upper motor and lower motor, that is the Babinski reflex, appears. So if it is a upper motor neuron paralysis, we'll get Babinski sign positive, which is nothing but dorsiflexion of toes occurs when we scratch along the lateral aspect of the heel. And after 5 months, the extensor reflexes will appear, extensor tone appears, and the first jerk that appears is knee jerk, followed by ankle jerk. And there will be a reflex called as Mars reflex. The person can void his bladder by scratching over the thigh or the anterior abdomen, which causes flexor spasm, contraction of the flexor muscles, sweating over that region, and voiding of urine. And coming to the stage of reflex failure, all the reflexes fails, and the wasting of muscles occurs because of loss of tone and misuse, and mass reflex is abolished. So whatever the mass reflex that came in the reflex activity is also lost. And in incomplete transaction, it also presents with all these three stages. In stage of reflex activity, there is a difference. What is that difference is paraplegia in extension will be there, and the other difference is no mass reflex. And the same stage of reflex failure is also the same. And coming to the hemisection, in the hemisection, half of the spinal cord is injured, and whatever the injury side, we call that as ipsilateral or same side, and the other side is called opposite side. If you see the diagram, usually the crossed tracts of the opposite side are involved in the lesion, and the uncrossed tracts of the same side are involved in this lesion. So we'll explain that. Now we'll take these two segments of the spinal cord and we'll divide that into two halves, and this is the same side and this is the opposite side. Now let us take this as the injury. Now at the level, what are the sensory changes that are occurring, we'll see. So at the level, on the same side, we'll talk about first on the same side. So the dorsal columns which are ascending on the same side are lost. So dorsal columns are lost on the ipsilater. And at the same level, the laterospinothalamic tract and anterospinothalamic tract, which should cross to the opposite side, are also lost before crossing. So pain, temperature of lateral spinothalamic tract, crude touch of anterospinothalamic tract are lost. So at the level, on the same side, we are losing all the tracts. So we can say it is complete anesthesia. So whatever that segment is innervating, so if it is C7, whatever that C7 is innervating, the dermatome will be losing all the sensations, dorsal, anterior and lateral, all the tracts are gone. Now on the opposite side, we have the cross tract, anterolateral spinothalamic tract. So the cross tract is lost here. So we are losing pain, temperature and crude touch on the opposite side at the level. Now we'll go to the below the level sensory losses. So again two segments. We'll make it into two halves, same side, opposite side. Now below the level. So this is the injury. So below the level on the same side, laterospinothalamic tract crosses to the opposite side. So it is paired. The dorsal columns is lost. So we are losing the dorsal column on the same side below the level. Coming to the opposite side below the level, the crossed tracts are crossing. So they are also cut at the lesion. So below the level, we are using the pain, temperature, crude touch. So anterolaterospinothalamic tract of opposite side are gone. Now coming to the motor. Now again two segments, two halves, same side, opposite side. Now we take about, this is the upper motor neuron of this segment and this is the lower motor neuron coming out. And this is the upper motor neuron of the lower segment and this is the lower motor neuron of that segment. Now the lesion of level of injury is this. So here at the level, this is at the level and below the level. So at the level, we are losing the lower motor neuron. So we are getting lower motor neuron paralysis at the level. And if you see below the level, we are losing this upper motor neuron here. It is injured. So we will be getting upper motor neuron paralysis. So at the level, on the same side, we are getting lower motor neuron paralysis, and below the level, we are getting upper motor neuron kind of paralysis. We'll talk about what happens with this upper motor and lower motor in the next slides. And coming to the opposite side, So this is at the level opposite side and below, and they're not at all involved. So nothing will be happening in the motor to the opposite side. Now we'll summarize this. Now hemisection of spinal cord is also called as Brown-Séquard syndrome. So what is happening? Now we are talking about at the level, same side sensory changes. We already mentioned dorsal, anterolateral are all gone. So complete anesthesia. Okay. Now motor changes. We said at the level on same side it is lower motor neuron paralysis. So lower motor neuron paralysis will present with decreased tone. So tone is decreased means flaccid paralysis, no reflexes, wasting of muscles, and also vasomotor tone is reduced. This is what happening with the motor changes at the level on the same side. Now coming to the opposite side, we already mentioned opposite side, pain, temperature and crude touch. So crude touch is lost, pain is lost, temperature is lost. These are lost. Dorsal column functions are retained. Okay, and motor, we said nothing, no paralysis. And coming to the below the level of lesion. So below the level of lesion on the same side. So same side. Sensory changes will be dorsal column loss. So dorsal column will be having these functions: fine touch, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, vibration sense, conscious kinesthetic sensation is nothing but the proprioception, and stereognosis. So these are lost on the same side below the level of lesion. And as the laterospinothalamic tract and anterior cross to the opposite, pain, temperature, crude touch are retained. And we already mentioned same side below the level of lesion, the motor changes are upper motor. So upper motor neuron paralysis will be increased tone, which is spastic paralysis, and exaggerated deep reflexes. And also Babinski sign will be positive, which is demarcating between UMN and LMN. And rigidity in limbs if the tone is much increased in both flexor and extensor. And there will be no muscular wastage because of the hypertonia. And opposite side, we already mentioned pain, temperature, crude touch. Dorsal columns are spared, so sensations are retained and no motor changes. Coming to the syringomyelia. Syringomyelia, this is the central canal, and these are the cavities that form around the central canal. So usually the tracts which are crossing nearer to the central canal are lost. So this laterospinothalamic tract and anterospinothalamic tract which are crossing to the opposite side are lost. And the dorsal columns which are away from the injury or the cavity are spared. If that is involved, sensations will be lost. If this cavity extends to the anterior gray horn, LMN paralysis occurs. So we'll see what happens. So already we mentioned anterospinothalamic tract, laterospinothalamic tract which are nearer to the central canal are lost. So usually it involves lower cervical and upper thoracic segments. So in the juncture of cervical and thoracic segments. As we said, the cross tracts, pain, temperature and also crude touch is lost. But main touch sensation is by dorsal columns. So dorsal columns is spared, so touch sensation is retained. If it is extending to the dorsal columns also, we can say all sensations are lost. If it is going to the anterior gray horn, we already mentioned it is LMN paralysis, so which is flaccid paralysis. Coming to the tabes dorsalis, which is nothing but the degeneration of the dorsal columns and the posterior nerve roots, which occur in syphilis. So what happens here? All the sensations will be lost, and as the sensations in the weight bearing joints are lost, there occurs degenerative changes in the joints. We call such a joints as Charcot joints. And all the reflexes, because for a reflex there is an afferent, center and an efferent. Here is the receptor, here is the effector. So the afferent is cut here, so all the reflexes are lost. And the person presents with stomping gait. Stomping gait is the one where the person hits the ground to know the position of the limb. If the visual clue is there, he can know that the ground is there and the leg is hitting. As the proprioception is lost, he will be losing his position sense. So what he will do is, whenever it is dark or whenever he closes the eyes, he raises the leg and hits the ground so that he can feel the vibrations in the trunk and he can know that he touched the ground. And that is mainly due to this sensory ataxia. And one sign for this sensory ataxia is Romberg sign. So what is this Romberg sign? Positive is, we'll ask the subject to stand straight with feet close together and we'll ask him to close the eyes. If the person has sensory ataxia, whenever he closes the eyes, the visual clue is cut. So he sways. If he sways without closing the eyes, it is cerebellar ataxia. So Romberg sign is for sensory ataxia. And even the bladder control is lost, so it will be atonic bladder. The same in a diagrammatic representation. This is the injury in tabes dorsalis. So all the dorsal columns are lost. So loss of position and vibration sense below the level of lesion. And we already mentioned no reflexes. So deep tendon and reflexes are lost. And urinary incontinence and lancinating pain in the lower extremities. That ends our topic of spinal cord lesions. Thank you for your patient listening. Bye.